Hey guys, welcome back to Builds by Maz. In this video, I'll be showing you how to replace all your shower and bathtub hardware, including the shower head, the handle, the tub spout, and the drain. Let's get started. We'll begin by turning off the house water supply for most of this process. Starting with the shower head, a lot of the time you can just unscrew the nozzle by hand, but this one's pretty old and it was stuck on there good, so I had to use some pliers. But you just twist counterclockwise, and once I got the initial movement, I could unscrew it the rest of the way by hand. This back piece is called the shower arm flange, and it might be attached to your wall with some caulking, but you should be able to just pry it up. Then you can slide it off the shower arm. Removing the shower arm can be a little trickier. We're going to unscrew it counterclockwise, but a lot of the times these are really in there tight, and you're not able to do it by hand. What you can do is use a large screwdriver to extend the length of the arm. This will give you more leverage and twisting power. Make sure you also use one hand to support the base of the arm next to the wall, but once you get the first rotation, it'll become a lot easier and you'll be able to continue twisting until it's totally unscrewed. I'm going to be using this Offo shower arm, which comes with a replacement flange as well. You'll also want some Teflon tape to make sure you don't have any leaky connections. Anytime you're using this plumber's tape, you want to do it in a clockwise direction. That way when you're screwing in the fixture, it'll actually tighten up the tape as opposed to unraveling it. Give it 3 or 4 wraps around the threads, which should be sufficient for a watertight seal, and then you can easily tear off the end. I also added some to the other side of the shower arm where the nozzle will screw into. Now this longer side here is what's going to attach to the wall, and that's where we'll add our flange. You can see these 4 tabs on the back side, which can be used to tighten it up if it's not a secure connection. Simply slide the flange partway onto the arm and test if it's wobbly. If it is loose, you can remove it, press the tabs inward, and then reinsert it. But this is a good connection here, so I'm good to move forward. Line up the threads with the fitting in your water line, and then you can simply screw the arm back into place. Once you've gotten it pretty tight by hand, you may need to use the screwdriver to finish the final rotation so the arm is pointing downward. You can then press the flange back against the wall, and we can screw on the shower head. I'm using this rainfall style nozzle, which comes in a few colors, but I'm using the matte black. All you do is twist it onto the end of the shower arm until you have a tight connection. You can do this all by hand. The last step is to turn your water back on and check for leaks. Look both behind the shower head, and you can peek behind the faceplate to look behind the wall. This shower head alone has been a huge improvement, and if you're looking for an inexpensive shower upgrade, I'll put a link to this in my video description below. Now replacing the shower handle will depend on what type of valve you have. If you have 2 screws right below the handle like this, you probably have what's called the standard valve, which is less common. If your screws are on a diagonal at 2 and 8 o'clock, you probably have a posi-temp valve. Those are more common, and they have plenty of trim kits available, and I'll put one in my video description. But this video will focus on a standard valve setup just like this. As you can see, I've started by removing the screws which hold the trim plate in place. Looking below the handle, you'll find a little hole right here. It might have a cover that you need to pry off. Using an Allen wrench, you can remove a screw that's hidden up below the handle. It's a little tricky getting everything lined up, but once you feel the Allen wrench in place, you can undo the screw and you'll feel the whole handle start to loosen. Eventually, you should be able to pull it straight off. Here's a cross-section view which might help you better visualize things. You can see this little screw being loosened up. With the handle removed, you can slide off the faceplate. To remove the ball joint and sleeve, you can simply unscrew this front part and then pull off the back cylinder. Make sure your water is turned off before doing this. This is where the ball joint is located that regulates the water temperature. Now I really couldn't find any simple trim kits for this style of shower valve. A lot of the kits required you to replace this whole piece back inside here, and that was just more work than I wanted to do. But if you can find a trim kit, here's how you replace the ball joint. You'll see there's a groove cut out right here, and that fits into this little notch on the right side of the valve assembly. Then there's another notch on this front gasket piece, which fits into the groove on the left side of the valve assembly. These notches are what helps keep everything aligned. First insert the ball joint, followed by the front gasket, and then it all gets held in place by screwing on the front nose piece. This is also a good time to clean up the ring around the faceplate. So instead of replacing the whole trim kit since I couldn't find one, I'm actually just going to be spray painting the whole handle assembly. This will be an easy and effective way to match the rest of the matte black shower hardware. I started by thoroughly cleaning the surface of the handle and the faceplate. You really want a clean surface so your paint doesn't have any adhesion problems. I recommend starting with a good metal primer to further help the paint's adhesion. I used 2 light coats of the primer over everything, including this nose piece. I left this installed in the shower so I could turn my house's water supply back on in the meantime. Once the primer was fully dried, I used 2 coats of this flat black enamel paint. This paint matched the rest of my hardware really well. It's really important to let it dry and use multiple coats, especially since this is going to be used a lot and have constant water exposure. I also used a final coat of clear enamel to give extra protection. I forgot to film it, but it applies the same as regular spray paint. With that dried, I could reinstall the faceplate and handle. The faceplate simply attaches with the 2 long screws, and then to attach the handle, I like to preset the Allen wrench and the little screw, and then you can slide it into place. You're just pushing it onto the end of the ball joint as far back as it will go. Then you can tighten up the screw, which will secure the handle into place. Next, we'll look at removing the tub spout. First, check underneath to see if there's a hole like what we saw on the bottom of the shower handle. If there is, you'll need to remove another screw using an Allen wrench, and then you should be able to pull the tub spout straight off. Now if there isn't a hole, then your tub spout is likely just twisted on. Try unscrewing it, and it should easily come undone like mine is right here. In my case, this internal threaded pipe also got unscrewed with the spout, so I need to remove it and get it back on the wall. Now this should have plumber's tape on the end right here, so before I reinstall it, I'm going to add some. Now, I can screw this back into the connection inside the wall. Make sure it's good and tight, and then you can turn the water on to make sure you have no leaking. Look closely for any water coming from back inside the wall here. This is the replacement spout I'll be using. It comes with a bunch of adapters, so it should be able to fit most tub setups. In my case, I don't need this included pipe inside, so I'm just going to unscrew it. Now it's basically just a shell, and I can reattach it to my existing tub pipe by simply screwing it into place. It's pretty simple. All you really need to do is make sure it's snug against the wall and that it's pointed downward. Lastly, to remove this old pop-up drain, I started by unscrewing the top cap. There's a wide bolt inside which holds everything down, and I removed that with a flathead screwdriver. Now you're not going to believe how easy it is to replace this drain. I found this on Amazon and I'll put it in the links below, but it's a short pop-up drain which you can just place on top of your tub's drain hole, and that's literally it. There's no glue, no screwing, no nothing. I was skeptical as far as how well this would work, so I tested it out a few times, and I was really surprised. It was completely watertight and really easy to operate. But that's about it. I hope this video has helped you with replacing your own shower or bathtub hardware. And if you want to see more ways to easily improve your bathroom, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.